It was one of the key issues in the 2016 presidential race for the Republican candidates. They basically all campaigned on it. However, once Donald Trump took the White House, the Republican-controlled Senate then helped to vote it down. But is it back to the future now? Because the former president, Donald Trump, now saying he wants to make it a focus again, writing over the weekend in part, quote, "The cost of Obamacare is out of control. Plus, it's not good health care. I'm seriously looking at alternatives." This was like the issue, as you know, Kaylee, for all the Republican candidates in 2016. Of course, Trump had the wall. Republicans got smoked on this, though, in 2018. Is it good for him to bring it up?
You know, I find it interesting that he is bringing it up, since he's railed against other Republican primary candidates for bringing up Social Security and the other, programs that are going to be insolvent. And now that he's bringing up Obamacare, which is kind of an unpopular topic, even among Republican voters. They're pretty content with the program as it is. However, he's right. There does need to be an alternative found, because Medicare is going to be insolvent by 2031. Obamacare is going to affect that as well. I think his larger point, though, is that this was a major defeat for Republicans, where Republicans were unable to coalesce around their one campaign mission. It was a massive failure. And so that's his point, is that Republicans need to band together and actually get things done.
So tee up, if you can, the Sean Spicer soundbite. Sean Spicer was the press secretary, of course, during the Trump administration when they were trying to get this passed. And here's what he said a few weeks ago back on the show.
Here's what I'll concede.
And then I want to bring in Ashley.
Nick remembers this from the healthcare debate. We wanted to repeal Obamacare. We wanted to repeal Obamacare. The second that we finally could, we said, what do? We weren't ready with a message and a plan.
That's the point. That's the point. You can't replace it with nothing now, especially 10 years in, when millions of Americans, including people cheering him in that crowd,
4.5 million have enrolled.
They get their health care from it, and it's also affected every aspect of everybody else's health care in this country, brought down prices for everybody. He has no plan, and quite frankly, I think part of this is him trying to cover up the fact that he constantly says he's running against Barack Obama. There is something wrong with him mentally. And I think he thinks that it's 2016 and he doesn't know where he is half the time. And I think that's sometimes when he tweets, that's what happens.
Well, at the same time, Joe Biden was vice president when Obamacare was passed, so it's a way he can needle him. But you're absolutely right.
Hold that thought for a second, because here was President Biden earlier today reacting to all this.
And my predecessors, once again, God love him, called for cuts that could rip away health insurance for tens of millions of Americans in Medicaid. They just don't give up. But guess what? We won't let these things happen.
All right, so they're pouncing on this.
Yeah, and that's the flip side of it. And we do know that Democrats were really good on Obamacare messaging. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Obamacare was originally a term that was come up with by the former president's critics. They, flipped it in their favor, and they were able to very much coalesce around this going up to 2018. So I think this is Biden saying game on, and Biden very much recognizes that there doesn't seem to be a plan.
Is this good politics, or?
Kaylee's entirely right. This was the massive, monumental failure of imagination and political courage on the Republicans' part. They complained about Obamacare for a decade. When they got the ball, it wasn't, Trump made it sound like, oh, we had a plan, but these people voted against it.
We're going to get into it.
But what they said was, we will gladly pay you Tuesday for an Obamacare cut today. It was a preposterous lapse. The idea that you would campaign around, Donald Trump will not, I just want to be clear, Donald Trump will not do this. But you could campaign around a replacement. You could say, I have a better alternative that will make Medicare and Medicaid, that will shore up Medicare and Medicaid, that will do all this stuff. But I don't think that's what Donald Trump's talking about. I think Donald Trump's still mad at John McCain.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. And make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.